What's up? What's up? You know how the audio is. The music too loud. Hope everybody come in. A little build. Transition with clarity. MF Doom. What's up? I only see one person in the chat room. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Mr. Brandon? Going live on YouTube and IG. Transition with clarity. I feel like this metaphysics and spirituality, like honoring music, I feel like music should be honored in metaphysics. It should be honored with more, like it's as if music is like a side note to metaphysics when it is metaphysics, you know? What's up, everybody? Instagram, YouTube. What's up, everybody? Matter of fact, what's up, Tyler? What's up, Jacory? Sabrina? Dale? Mel So Swell? Seymour? What's up, Vanessa Porter? Also, you know, remembering the New Year's, you know, it's really in April. It's when the new year starts off. It's kind of like March 21st into April, but when we spring into action, you know, because that's when things really, that's actually the new year. Like, you know, things then come out of because that's literally, you know, again, like, we just dealt with the death and rebirth aspect on the 25th, you know, with the winter solstice. You know, it's like the death and rebirth aspect, you know, where the sun is coming out of the darkest days and then begins its ascent to, you know, where it's more daylight, you know, where the sun is out more, you know, getting into the spring and the summertime. So we spring into action, you know. And at the same time, still, you know, which for me though, I had to do it differently because I understand the metaphysics of it. Like for myself, like I went to sleep last night at 10 o'clock, you know, like I wasn't like, oh, like, all right, 12 o'clock, I have to do it. You know, it's like, you know, because that aspect of it is a facade. Like, you know, since I know better, I do better. And I think that's a part of like when we talk about doing the work, you know, it's the simple aspects of like what we learn better, but we still do some of the same things. So it's like, you know, switching it up. because April is when we're gonna see a lot of things, springing into action. See our fruits, we start to see it blossom. The trees, the grass start to grow more. You know what I'm saying? That abundance starts to sprout out. You know, on a nature vibe, nature like, what the fuck y'all talking about? Some New Year? It's still hibernation mode. And again, like every day should be a moment of being greater than yesterday. Because again, like we could take that Christ mentality and tag it to something else. We could turn that religious, again, like waiting on that religious figure to help us, like that waiting for Nibiru, waiting for the new year, or waiting for this to activate that. Or it's like, just always constantly be working on self in the moment. And, it'll all be in alignment. But matter of fact, I do not own the rights to this music. And matter of fact, I want to say transition with clarity, MF Doom. When I think about it, it's like he's almost like the Bobby Hemmett rap to some extent. Like I would almost think like MF Doom and K Reno. It's like Bobby Hemmett and Phil Valentine on some vibes. Like, well, K Reno might not build this character like as MF Doom did, but again, like MF Doom got like more of that Bobby Hemmett vibe, and K Reno got more of that Phil Valentine vibe. As a matter of fact, transition with clarity, MF Doom, and much blessings and prosperity to K Reno, giving my brethren roses while he's still here, and with like, when we talk about, our dreams and the subconscious and, doing music and like showing that whole little connection. I also want to, let me see, bring out my little notes. But like also the difference in underground, like what's underground and mainstream, like in the difference between that on a musical level. And again, tying this all into, our spirituality again, because consciously, as a collective, you know, we may think, because we've been subconsciously programmed to feel like if I don't have a Hollywood star or if I don't reach the Billboard #1, then my music or what I'm creating, isn't the best. And we do this on our growth as if my spiritual growth don't look like the mainstream version of spiritual growth, then I'm not like if I'm not a yoga instructor or a Reiki worker, then I'm not, like as if you're not on your growth, as if, if you're doing one of those things, you're not, or should I say, if you're not doing one of those things, you're not on your growth. But again, like that all ties in from a music level and like seeing in our spiritual growth, like right now, stepping into our uniqueness even more and more. Again, having to have those miniature debts, like the death of these old constructs and ideas, and how much you have to be yourself in order to like build the character that MF Doom built. You know what I'm saying? It's like it takes a level of being your unique self. Because again, like when you look up, nobody in the world was doing what MF Doom was doing. Like literally, again, because I like to give out the benefit of doubt on a devil's advocate vibe that, yeah, it could be possible that somebody else in the world was like in their basement. They never released none of their music or none of that, but they made music exactly like MF Doom. All right, that could be a possibility, But again, like as far as like music that we could, put our hands on, you know, like that's the only place you could get that music is from him. And also seeing like a little vibe, where when I looked it up on multiple sources, it said that he transitioned October 31st, but yet they announced it, yesterday. His wife and the record label, announced it yesterday. And I'm like, damn, even when he transitioned, it's some type of unique aura, what I'm saying, tied to that. It's like dang, he transitioned. Cause I'm looking, I'm like, wait, why every part say October? I thought it was a typo, so I'm gonna go look again and look again. But it's showing October 31st. So I'm like, all right. Transition like about 3 months ago, but we just finding out. No coincidence though that like I've been feeling that vibe of jamming MF Doom for the last like month or so. But yeah, right. OG Stepper, right. Like, thank you for bringing up that part. Like, well, again, we dealing with COVID, what I'm saying, and the mask and all that. And see, bro, shout out OG Stepper. Appreciate that for like bringing up something with some relevance and connection with, what we're running. But that's a great point. It's like dealing with the little COVID aspect with wearing masks and stuff like that. And then just so happened going into what a lot may call the new year, to announce that the only rapper that's again like he's his unique self, the only rapper that's known for wearing a mask all the time, transition going into 2021. Like and seeing how again like the universe, like this is one big song, the universe, one song, one verse, like drumline, one band, one sound. Like, but yeah, that's a great that's a great point. Again, like and understanding, like with a lot of people transitioning where the first thing we go to is thinking about something such and such got them, or they something happened to them, or and it's a balance with all this because again it's an alignment with the universal order, no matter what. Because even with the aspect where I'm aware that this place is so much of a simulation where certain beings are groomed to be a certain type of way to influences, what I'm saying, or to gain our attention, to gain that influence. These are facts that we have to acknowledge when dealing with music and entertainment or any of these things, where somebody is popularized through again mainstream media. But again, like MF Doom is in essence considered an underground, rapper, and he's one of those people where he's like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, like because if you don't know who MF Doom is, most musicians and most people who do rap or anybody who has any type of inspiration to be unique, in most cases know of MF Doom, you know. But yeah, that aspect with the wearing of the mask, and again, symbolizing, taking off the mask in essence, like mask off on our future, mask off, you know what I'm saying? Because I do feel like it may also get to a point where so much lies and, bullcorn dealing with the corona situation where it it'll fizzle itself out in the sense of now as I say this, I know that it's still gonna have people, believing to some extent, but it's like where anybody who has a drop of sense in them are gonna see like, all right, they just saying anything, all these people so say transition, but yet, everybody around this scene, it's not like people dropping in high numbers, But again, where I'm at with it is understanding the deepness of knowing, like, again, it's all a mental aspect through through what we consume, and we could heal ourselves with our mind, you know. And again, that's in the book Law of Attraction, written by Rhonda Byrne, which again is like speaking on somewhat just one or two aspects of the seven hermetic principles or the seven universal laws. But again, it has quotes of people healing their cancer and tumors and sickness with their mind. And they got vouchers in this book with the likes of Oprah. But then on the back end, Oprah would probably be wearing a mask and telling everybody to mask up. I don't know what she's doing, but just showing you how, again, like the truth is there. You just have to be aware, because here it is where people read, know that, hey, shit, Oprah endorsed the law of attraction, understand that, she done had Jim Carrey on her show and this and that, and she manifested herself, you know, and in books speaking on this, but then backdoor and like, hey, uh, COVID, this and that, playing a little mainstream game as well, But again, back to the music and the metaphysics thing, and create your own universe. Like MF Doom created his own, like when we talk about like creation, like, and again, shout out to the brethren Travis Majors for making a video talking about the left hand and the right hand path. Well, like the left hand path is like, you know, creating your own, what I'm saying? It's like tapping into the subjective reality, Because again, a lot of us, when we start to tap into, doing altar work or meditations or just understanding how, our subconscious work, you know, that's dealing with the subjective reality. Because I could take this ring. So say, for instance, to show you the different, like, I take this ring and say this is my lucky ring, and every time I put on this ring, like I always find $100. And when I do put on this ring, I always do find $100, like, or something like that happens for me. That that's my subjective reality. That magic is created through me saying, "Hey, this is my lucky ring." Like now that this ring creates that vibe. But if I get that same ring to somebody else who don't sees it like that, and I don't tell them that story, that's just a regular old ring, you know what I'm saying, to them. And it doesn't, they're not able to work that same magic again of the subconscious mind and create that situation physically because, again, that it doesn't operate the same in their reality. But again, on the objective aspect, whereas like the objective reality, like the objective reality is the rules of, what I'm saying, yeah, definitely gonna get it popping with the clubhouse vibes too. The objective reality, of like the universal laws, like the seven universal laws, where those laws are, going, and you have no choice but to abide, by the law of karma, the law of polarity, you know, again, the law of gender or rhythm, you know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna happen regardless, But again, like in the sheeple, what we call sheeple, are like going with the flow of the crowd, aspect. It's like you're not subjectively, creating, like you're following. In matter of fact, and realizing like the double aspect, like where religions, more so Christianity, purposely promoting it, like again with the Nicaea councils, purposely promoting the vibe to create, like, again, that's chaos magic that they did on masses, like, hey, we're gonna create a reality subjectively where this Christ figure who been existing 16 times before we turn in this, before we turn this picture of Caesar Borgia into Jesus, you know uh again, like we're gonna use this storyline and turn this into a historical figure and use it to project our subjective magic onto the masses, and they're gonna create our reality, through that subjective magic. But again, with the left hand, right hand pad, like the left hand pad being the aspect of creation and creators. Because think about it, like when you're creating something, you know, that you never like a Basquiat, a James Brown, Michael Jackson. Like Michael Jackson created the moonwalk, like nobody else created that. You know what I'm saying? Like it, it has like a lonely vibe to it in essence, and not like lonely like that, because not to say like MF Doom had a wife, it wasn't like he was a lonely hermit, you know, uh, to that extent. But just seeing, again though, when you're in your uniqueness, is like nobody else like you, and again that's like stepping into the unknown, because everything you creating is, again, there's nothing new under the sun. In this lifetime, everything you creating, it's like, oh shit, like, we never heard a rap like MF Doom, you know what I'm saying? Like, we never heard this, so that's new territory. That's the unknown, that's uncharted waters, in essence, uncharted waters of the subconscious, you know, like, again, like jazz music, and why jazz music is so influential to a lot of artists, because it within itself, was like just created, like it didn't have no predecessor. It wasn't like jazz music is a sample of Beethoven, or a sample of like, again, like music that came before it, or it's like a sample of like tribal music. Straight up, it's like it's its own thing that just came out of, what I'm saying, out of blue. And again, like Miles Davis, and again, as above so below, as within so without, some of us are reflective of that creative energy, like what we create, like we're able to create our own little worlds, because again, like MF Doom created his own little world, and when you listen to that music, you tapping into his world. Like you listen to my music or any artist's music, you tapping into our universe, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think about DMT trips where we would listen to binaural beats, and you'll be literally tapping into the world of that, the vibration. Because again, it sounds, it's vibration, you know, different notes and tones depends on, how high the frequency of the vibration is, or how low it is, or how long the note is held, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, much blessing. Yep, OG Stepper. Matter of fact, and look, OG Stepper got the emblem to bring me to another aspect I was gonna bring up with music too. Or like aspect of like UGK, Underground Kings, matter of fact, transition with Clarity, Pimp C, Chad Butler, you know, uh, and seeing like, again, being your unique self, like UGK had a unique sound. So even though they, claim themselves to be the underground kings, their music had no choice but to surface out, uh into the mainstream, because it's the same thing with MF Doom, even though he wasn't like, like trying to pursue, again, you can see it through his career, like he's just uniquely bringing his music forth, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like no, oh, I gotta try to hit the Billboard top number one, because otherwise he would have promoted himself to, get radio played, to get a Billboard song or something of that nature, but yet value just the uniqueness of his creation as expression. Because again, an artist, I'm about to take my paintbrush and paint. I'm not about to ask everybody else what should be the first, because now sometimes an artist may create things where it's like, hey, like I would like your input. Like, what type of picture would you like to see? You know what I'm saying? What type of picture would you like for me to paint musically, or or with, or literally, you know what I'm saying? But in most cases, a lot of unique art, comes from, again, that unique perspective, that unique angle, that angle of light. When we're talking about the different angles, zodiac signs, like this degree, 0 degree, you know what I'm saying? Like, got a different angle of, you know, how we express ourselves. So again, it's like, if I'm being an artist, I'm not going like, hey, well, what y'all think the first strike of the brush should be? It's like, no, I'm gonna tap in and I'm gonna, be like, damn, I never saw nothing like that. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never heard nothing like that. I never saw nothing like that. Because again, there's nothing new under the sun as far as like, again, we're going through, small microcosmic cycles and loops and macrocosmic cycles and loops. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, again, like cycling through things, like we always been inventive and creative and, you know what I'm saying, tapping into, uh, again, that creation aspect. It's just, again, like what makes it new is new to us in this lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, other than MF Doom in this lifetime, we never seen nobody like MF Doom in this lifetime. But we have seen somebody be uniquely creative and, do something of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like in that sense. But again, it's like creating little, yeah, the wavelengths, again, of because it all is dealing with sound inevitably. Again, like something vibrating is gonna create some type of little humming noise, whether it's high pitch or low. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the vibration of this reality, is a low pitch bass. We talk about our bass chakra, and bass in the song and very white voice, you know what I'm saying? Getting that, touching that root chakra, you know what I'm saying? Those sexual, physical, aspects. Or should I say more of the physical aspect, which is only, again, the turns into the harmful aspect or what some may deem as the devil. Because again, the devil is us too, but it's us when we are lost into the temporal aspect, where we put in the temporal aspect before the infinite aspect of our being. And again, that's what the, you know, multiple levels we realize, and again, like how much we are creators of our reality, and everything showing itself to be, because hence another reason why I like being unconditional loving of ourselves, because we're going to see those certain aspects of our shadow self that we probably try to keep hidden is no longer going to be hit, like it's going to be seen and felt, like what we you know uh what we dealing with. But at this point, again, like things are getting lighter and lighter. It's going to be less of those heavy feelings, as we're constantly progressing. But it goes along with the work, and that's literally what it is. Like, again, like we're seeing a direct manifestation of what we're doing, and there's no like veil no more. Like, it's no like, oh, it's possible. Like, no, you see it, like what you're dealing with. Again, like what things need to be transmuted. But again, I'm about to switch this off of the live for Instagram soon. I definitely want to simultaneously. And matter of fact, that's the thing too. So literally as above, so below, as within, so without. As we collect, like as a lot more of us are going within ourselves and getting deeper into our subconscious and shining the conscious light on this subconscious darkness, you know. And that's what the internet is like, again, like the physical aspect of, being able to tap into the collective, you know what I'm saying? Basically, the internet almost like, you know, is a physical way for us to, like our physical external way for us to tap into the collective in essence, you know, and seeing how, again, like what used to be underground, like at one time you had to go to Hollywood, or you had, let me say had, but for the sake of being seen by everybody, on that level. And I'm gonna side note it, but at one point you had to go through these avenues, and now it's getting to the point where, again, the internet is accessible to everybody, and you could get popular through the internet, and it's not through the voucher. And again, that should show everybody the strength of, again, your attention and what you focus on. Like, we create what's popping and what's not popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like hip hop is literally like a, I don't really want to use the word religion, but it is like, like a form, it's like a new form of, religion. Matter of fact, shout out to who was that? Open this live and went off. When Nas talked about that, like, where he was like, somebody said Nas wrote the Bible. Ah, shit, I forgot. I don't want to slaughter it, but long story short, it is like a religion, in that essence. And all our art, and creative expression should be valued. Like, again, like where spirituality, where we kind of like value the mainstream look of it, you know what I'm saying, of like meditation, doing yoga, working with crystals. And again, like that's the awareness we have to have, is understanding that yes, these things are useful tools, and at the same time, it's being projected and used as a tool to throw, to confuse you on your growth, to make it seem like, it only has to be these things. And if you're not smiling all the time and always chill, because again, a part of our growth is, like, for the most part, like as you align and release a lot of trauma, you are enjoying yourself most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when some contrasts do come up, you respond to it accordingly, where it's not like, you know, uh, again, lasting longer than, what's necessary in so many words, But again, like it's promoted, like, oh, and again, that is true. You're gonna get happier, like, like, and that's another thing I had to realize. Like, all right, I was genuinely, happy in those moments. And at the same time, though, I do see where subtly in the back of my mind, though, sometimes I will push for positivity in moments when I was supposed to allow for myself to feel angry or feel sad or feel whatever it is, and let it genuinely move, like energy and motion, let it genuinely move itself through me and get back to that genuine place of happiness, instead of like, Capricorn and it poker facing it all the way through. It's like, nah, allow for it to, flow and release. And look, man, again, like it's about the esoteric meaning, and tapping into that subconscious aspect. Everything I'm coming across right now, again, like from reading the Man and His Symbols book, tapping into the subconscious, and again, like how collectively, we are tapped in to this, aspect. Again, like I always bring up, I use the story of like Mickey Mouse, where Mickey Mouse, that character always existed, like that existed in the collective cloud. Walt Disney just so happened to be the person to bring that down, like quote unquote, oh, I had a vision or a dream about Mickey Mouse, and oh, it's Mickey Mouse now to everybody, and now it popularized Disneyland and all that. But you know, that could have been anybody that brought that down. You know what I'm saying? Because even with the music aspect and seeing how like now it's the vibrate on creating too, and how much it is like a collective connection. Because here it is, like in which nobody created it exactly like how I designed it, but just showing like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna create an album that's going through each chakra, you know, and here it is where seeing like some rappers that exist, and that's why again like digging deeper and seeing like, because if I was just dealing with mainstream rap, you'd never know that somebody then did this, because some things we expressing like as if like, oh yeah, like I like this is new, I know that I ain't never seen this before, you know what I'm saying, and hence why like I always like to have my awareness on the wholeness of the music game, like what's moving on the underground, battle raps, all that. Like, and I didn't kind of like pull myself away from it a little bit, and seeing that like on my growth, like how I pull myself away from listening to music on that level, and it's like again, that is the universe. Now, of course, I do want to be aware, like, of certain things subconsciously that, certain lyrics that I no longer want to listen to all the time, you know, or like, again, like, lower the frequency of how much I listen to it, but at the same time, value it and see the balance in, when I have my little moments, I want to listen to some Hot Boys and some Juvie or some UGK or some Screw, and they may be talking about doing things that I might no longer do, but I'm vibing with the essence of the music, like the artistry of it, because that's literally what bring me to a lot of music where they might still be talking about certain things like, like shooting and doing all this other, hustling. But like the artistry of the delivery of it so beautiful. It's like, you know, it's like as an artist, as a fellow artist, you like value the art aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about the Griselda, what it is, the Brendan Griselda game. But again, West Side Gun and the other Brendan, I forget his name. But long story short, man, them brothers be coming with that grimy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I pull a hammer on you, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of vibe, but it also has like that artistry in it. It has that godly, like, like I'm not really saying this to perpetuate it more as much as I'm, sharing my story, you know what I'm saying? And like transmuting my story by telling it, because I'm like telling how I'm, doing better from transmuting that type of past, you know what I'm saying? But and again, like and seeing why, like, what makes us disvalue music. A lot of it is, from the fact that you don't see, you know, like again, mainstream, like we don't see, and again, it's not knocking any of these people, but like we don't see the mainstream authors, or what I'm saying, the spiritual of, like when we go in the spiritual section or the spirituality or cult section, some of the main popularized authors, we may not see them, value art and hip hop and these things, as much as we do. And again, like understanding, because as I'm saying, it's also caught that little glimpse, you know, not holding on to it in an egotistical sense of, where like we holding on to it in a harmful manner, like, well, like I gotta hold on to this identity of, creating hip hop or this and that. It's more so just again like valuing the aspect of seeing how much music is a part of us, our being, and and that it is spiritual, like it is, like again, the physical is spiritual, the spiritual is physical. The physical is just a temporal aspect of the spiritual expression, but it's still a spiritual expression. Again, like whether I dig in my nose, cough, you know, piss or take a shit, it is all spiritual. It's just a different expression in the physical. Again. Nah, yeah, the different, like you hear a certain beat, and it like has a little vibe where you could like, oh, this beat, because I hear certain beats and it's like, ooh, sound like I'm like literally one beat sound like I should be like I won the championship. This beat sound like I just like had a flawless victory on Mortal Kombat or something. Like, ooh, like I should standing in the wind just blowing my cape. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's dope how you could hear sounds and it could paint that pitch like a paint a whole picture, like a whole visual just from hearing sounds. Like, you know, and then again, like seeing how through movies and movies and music, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll hear like you automatically thinking about Halloween and Michael Myers, you know what I'm saying? Like literally a picture of Michael Myers will come into, you know what I'm saying? And seeing, again, hence why like it's so like embracing the the creative aspect within ourselves and our creativity, and we could be creating all of these different things, movies, you know, uh, again, the music, creating our own form of subconscious magic, that's beneficial to being more aware of ourselves while, in this earthly plane or on this earthly plane while having this earthly experience, you know, well, again, because like get to the point where like if every other song talking about aligning my chakras and working with my crystals and it's like what I'm saying, and it's like whereas everywhere. So because that's the name of the game. Like, well, again, that's what the work be like. We doing the affirmations and doing the work so much. Again, it's like around us all the time. It starts to again, like our subconscious starts to shift our mark. Our subconscious shifts through again repetition, symbols, and trauma. You know, so again, like that repetition, and again, that's why they call the hook, of course. Because it's repeated. Like roll, roll, roll your boat. Like, it's a repetitive little, cadence to it. And also with like seeing with rap, like a lot of rap music is also, your voice and the cadence of the poetry, like the cadence of your delivery, you know what I'm saying, and the syllables that's in it, like the cadence that you get from the syllables, like rhyming every word, stopping then I say Matter of fact, shout out to my brother Josh because uh he introduced me to like an aspect of like when listening to instrumentals, and coming up with a song, like instead of just straight hopping on it with the lyrics, kind of hum out a little cadence to, go with it. Like so if I hit it beat right here, I'm like, all right, I'm a then uh, 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 and you see how that expression within itself, that's an instrument, you know what I'm saying? So when the rapper got a strong emphasis on this part and this hard, and I'm coming in with this bread, it's like a beat, a metronome, you know, again, like it's that. So it's an instrument within itself. As a matter of fact, I want this also to be like a Q&A. Anybody want to add to the discussion? Orange juice with a chase of water. Man, appreciate y'all, man. Much love. Matter of fact, and as we talking about music, as well, don't forget to check out the new video. And matter of fact, I'll put the link to again the Vibrate video with Jazz Bandito. But like that's honestly like, and I never talked about that, but like one of my recent, because I realized too how much some journeys or some aspects aren't meant for me to like, talk about it all, with everybody. It's like that balance of that doesn't mean I have anything to hide, but it is certain parts of my psychedelic journeys that just meant for me to, be tapped into. You know what I'm saying? Right. Any form of creative expression. Because again, you're stepping into a new bubble, you know what I'm saying? Like that's an unknown space. Even right now, like I'm dealing with that transition, of like making sure like I'm not holding on. That's why I stopped doing videos for a while, to allow for that, like to have like a little miniature deck to make sure like I'm not holding on to an ego of being a YouTuber, you know, like in that, because again, like I want to create things that are more tangible. Like I came down here to create, like like that's the name of the game down here. Is like I want to make my thoughts physical. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be sitting around like by humbugging, you know, like about like of course, this realm not the end all be all, but again, like I see I'm here for a reason, so let me figure out. And if I do feel like I got tricked into this or this, like let me discover why I feel like this or what's going on with that, you know. But something else I want to bring up. Oh, and the true alchemy of individuality, in our experience. That's what. All right, yo, about to run it on that. Yep, honoring the biggest synchronicity. What you said, Tyler, like seems to line up like whenever you again like tapping into that creative expression. Like again, like it's literally like you either gonna be your unique self or get washed into the current of being like everybody else. And balancing that unique individual expression while still understanding that connection too, like still understanding the oneness and that there is no separation, only the illusion of it. All right, I see. Could you share with us ways to balance the human ego, disconnect from the place of ego? Simply, like different little aspects to balance the ego. Again, the ego does serve a purpose. It's not like we're trying to, you know, kill the ego to that extent. Like, oh, I'm trying to extinguish the ego fully. Is the unhealthy aspects of the ego, like the ego, like the part of the ego that wants to get into the extreme of like, oh, it's just me, like me, or the I aspect. And it's whenever we, again, like an argument, like getting into arguments is a representation of knowing like, all right, I'm dealing with the ego, because again it's like trying to like I'm who's wrong or right when nobody's really wrong or right. Again, there's an objective reality and a subjective reality going on. If somebody believes that Jesus is a real person in their reality, Jesus is a real person. And again, like they didn't even have people, you know, having dreams or like having like the little wounds of the crucifixion, you know. And again, like seeing like how deep it is on subconscious magic, and like, all right, I'm aware that if I constantly listen to this person's story, it'll start to become my reality. You know what I'm saying? In that sense of it. But again, like not duck season, rabbit season, uh like again, like a form of separation to the point where it's causing conflict. And again, it starts off within yourself. Like there's a certain inner conflict that's going on within yourself, and it's reflected in your interaction with your, environment. You're constantly getting into it with people who are, weak. Let's just say because you hate the part of you that's weak, like you don't want to accept. And again, like 'cause that's integration, like accept that a part of you is weak. Like again, the yin to the yang, in order for us to be whole, and even have like this experience, like it has a dual nature. In order for roses to smell good, shit gotta stink. But again, bringing it back to the aspect of being present, like being present for me was like one of the aspects of helping me get out of my ego in a lot of cases, because it helps you to be, realize that the only thing that exists is the moment, and that the ego looking for that instant gratification, or like either looking to hold on to some pain of the past, or it can identify with it, like I want to identify with when I pissed on myself and embarrassed myself in front of the class. Like I want to just hold on to the, you know what I'm saying? Like it's trying to hold on to something, or it's like looking for something in the future, like for some gratification, or again, like it's always in survival mode. And there's a healthy part of survival mode. Like again, the healthy aspect of the ego is when I get hungry, instead of putting the spoon in somebody else's mouth, I put it in my own mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a healthy aspect to our existence, but it could have unhealthy expressions. And again, being present also, like when listening to people, you could tell the ego is like the unhealthy aspect of the ego is, lurking. If when you're talking with somebody, instead of fully listening to them, being like fully present in what they're saying, you're only listening to get ready for your rebuttal. Like you're listening to get ready to say something back to what they're saying, you know, and that's again like a obvious sign of dealing with, you know, the unhealthy aspects of the ego. But uh, let's see other aspects that help me. Again, to me, from there, like again, from being present and being in the moment, because the more also not fighting with that egoic thought, like something might pop up. Again, on back and forth with yourself, just allow, if a thought pop up, allow for it to pop up. Because again, like a thought could pop up, like, oh man, like again, some past, like, oh man, it was embarrassing when I peed on myself back in such a, I could let that just fly across. Or when it come up, man, that was embarrassing. And yeah, man, and I remember that day because such and such and this happened. And man, my mom did this and we ate this that day. And I shot basketball with songs. Like you'll go into a whole, So I feel like, again, like the practice of being present, just bringing our awareness to the moment, you know, could use meditations again to like clear your mind. And meditation don't necessarily have to be in the lotus position, saying that helps strongly, but you know, you could be again like how I get in the zone with doing jewelry or listening to certain instrumentals or music, whatever, like, you know, whatever allows for you to get in the zone of the moment and not be like thinking about, again, not too far in the past, not too far in the future, you know, like again, because we healing our past and creating our future simultaneously in the moment. Appreciate that donation reflection. And again, like, bringing it back to the music and the underground vibes. Matter of fact, shout out to Illuminati Congo. You know, again, shout out to the Dolos of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like again, Kambada, like all the people who making music. Where again, we starting to realize, like, all right, with the internet the way it is, and we could stream our stuff with ease. Cause like again, like all I gotta do is sign up for my BMI, sign up for. Now, of course, you could work with somebody to make your CDs or what they call distribution, but even that could be done by yourself, you know. And again, most everybody's streaming anyway, which at the same time, like I find myself like, because I know I want to like create and have vinyls and stuff like that. So, uh, again, back with the internet popularizing everything, like a artist like Kambada doesn't have to reach billboards or whatever in order to be popular and to be influential, strongly, same thing again with Illuminati Congo. Just him doing his thing, and matter of fact, shout out again to Brother Rich and the Black Magic channel. You know, we just done a video with Illuminati Congo, and just seeing how again we create our own stardom. And again, like, and let me say that again, like, shout out to the Black Magic channel, because it's proven that, because through the Black Magic uh channel, through what Brother Rich doing, like, it's showing, like, again, like, we giving roses, through the experience of again, like, what Brother Rich is presenting to us, and connecting and participating and seeing, like, all right, it doesn't have to be through Hollywood or through this. Our subconscious mind create reality, and what I focus on grows. So if I start to focus on, you know, again, like, my brethren and sister who doing music and doing crystal raps and Reiki, you know what I'm saying? Because again, that's all a part of it too, but that grows in my reality the more I give focus to that. And that doesn't mean that I'm putting my head in the sand and not paying attention to, you know, uh, the Bitcoin movements, and how, how current flow is changing in our reality, as far as currency, and again, like, what we may be exchanging for, like, goods and services. It doesn't mean like I'm not aware again of, like, what's going on. It's again that balance and equilibrium. Like, I'm aware of what's going on, and at the same time aware that in order to create my reality, I got to be creating my reality, and hold myself strongly accountable for that. Because again, everything I'm saying, I'm also talking to myself. And again, that's connected with movies. I think about again the Truman Show. Jim Carrey had to go into the waters, into the darkness of the water, into the waters at night, the darkness, and waters representing emotions, again, emotions, memory, the mother aspect, the subconscious, and no coincidence that, again, that's what is expressed as, we talk about, again, the Hebrew letter mem, and connected to water, and mem, no coincidence, uh, again, that's the prefix memory, you know. But going into the darkness, and again, those of us who like creating, you know, we tapping into that darkness of our subconscious mind, like we're going into that, we shining light on areas, that the light wasn't previously shined on, and pulling out these gems and jewels, you know, realizing the value in, quote unquote, again, like, shadow work is just facing all those little aspects of ourselves that we push to the side as unfavorable behavior, or as if, or things that we push to the side, like, oh, this makes me bad, or what I'm saying, like, negative, and all those types of experiences. Again, like, it starts from our upbringing. The first time we told, hey, this is desirable behavior, this is undesirable behavior. Bam, that, caused that little split. And now we integrating that aspect again back into, and I say back into, is integrating it into harmony and integrating it into wholeness, you know. But going into the darkness, Pulling out them gems, the clumsy jeweler, dropping jewels in your medulla. Ablin got him. Stepping into the unknown to be creative. And so, the true alchemy of your individuality. Again, like MF Doom was the only person in the world producing music the way he did, maintaining his uniqueness and at the same time inspiring the world. Uh, you know, and he inspiring the world from not from trying to fit in, but being himself. So it's like, you know, like paradoxically again, like the energy of the Aries is like, you know, Aries energy is like, you know, about self and like, you know, again, head first, like what's coming from my cerebral, you know, uh, but not from a place of like forget everybody else, more so like, hey, I'm creating my own thing and like inspiring you and being a beacon to say, hey, get like me. Like I want you to think for yourself as well. Like I want you to remember how to create for yourself as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm gonna be this beacon and this example, you know, like again, like a guiding star, you know, a constellation, like, you know, by creating all these different, again, like all these different moons and stars, you know, aka again, like these different notes in the instrumentals and which turns into a again like built like little beat cuts that's turned into an instrumental, which is an instrumental matched with lyrics turned into a song, which is turned into an album. You know what I'm saying? Like, but, oh, Tiffany Hall. Oh, matter of fact, that's because again, I like I did this in a balanced way because I didn't, you know, I I didn't know how like just starting off on my growth, like doing videos, you know, of like being straightforward as possible and being able to, you know, disguise my videos in that sense. And like YouTube, and again, like you work smart, not hard. You're like, all right, instead of going through all his videos, we could just make it hard to, you know, to where like when you search, because again, like earlier in my career, like you search universal frequencies and like my videos would be, you know, some of the only ones that would pop up. And after again, like after my videos again, and it became relevant of that, you know, like I had a copyright on me one time. I copyright but he took down one of my videos on psychedelics, you know, in the claims of like I was like pushing it on people or something as if Terrence McKenna don't fucking exist and set and what's his name? And shout out to him, but again, it's like as if that don't exist as well. uh so like what they do is just throw off the algorithms. So it's like it makes it hard to, you know, when you search universal frequencies, and which in a lot of cases, because I tagged almost all my videos, you know, if you type in universal frequencies and let's just say sigils or universal frequencies and tarot cards, you know, it's certain videos that definitely pop up, but it might be one or two videos that pop up in the main scroll of it when I got more than one tag with that, you know, that tag. And it's like, but it is what it is. If I didn't feel like it was like some Indian giving vibes, I was gonna like take some of my videos and just keep them on Patreon, like just unlist them and keep them on Patreon. But like I'm, because I realized too how much of like this channel is basically like a book in essence. Because it's no difference from like Edgar Casey or Carl Jung or H.P. Lovecraft, you know. Like, and I realized too, like where I just kind of came straight up and said like, "Hey, I had this trip and I saw these beings, and you don't have to believe me." You know what I'm saying? Like, well, instead of doing that, a lot of people just say, "Hey, I had a dream, and this is what I saw in my dream, and I'm going to express it." Or this story was passed to me by so and so, but but it's something that they really experienced themselves on the inner journey or something. So they turn it into a comic book or a story instead of like just like, hey, this is what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? But again, like that's like it makes it like a book because there's a lot of channel like Rudolph Steiner, Cosmic Memory book, with all this Atlantis and Lemurian information. It's like somebody could still be able to channel information. It's like channeling information didn't stop with certain people. Again, shout out to A.A. Rashid, and I realized he had said something about this. I never heard nothing of it and was saying it myself, and then saw that he been saying it too, like about writing our own Bible, like in essence of like telling a story, and like somebody literally could like do a literary piece of like what's been going on. Let's just say post revelation or post of what been written in the Bible, like and write it in like a symbolic, cryptic type of vibe, like where you have certain characters and these characters may represent a certain element. Like again, like the movie might say Sally, Taquisha, or Jaquan or whatever, but Jaquan represent the air element, Taquisha represent the iron element, you know, uh, and Sally represent the water element. And as the story being told with them, and they every day, like they had to go to the store and they was fussing over this. It's also literally telling the story of how the air and water, you know what I'm saying, fusses with each other, but it's just giving names to personify it and allow for us to conceptualize, like what's going on. What are your thoughts on version of you? Like as far as I see SGFA world, you say, what are your thoughts on more than one version of you? Like again, there is a multi-dimensional aspect of our being. Like we exist on multiple dimensions. Like right now, as I'm doing this video, and not only multiple dimensions in like different levels of vibration, like vibrating on a high, like there's a dimension in a high frequency uh that some of us exist on, and there's different levels of it on a frequency level, then there's different levels of it in this realm. So in this realm, for example, like you got the example of right now I'm doing this video, but then there's a reality that exists where I didn't sit and do this video, or where it's like little changes in it where I didn't do the Instagram live, I just did this video by itself, or a reality where I just did the Instagram and not this video, and a reality where I went and go run, you know what I'm saying, and exercise, or like that, all that exists. simultaneously as well. And then again, on a vibrational level, existing in a different dimensional world, like, you know, and in connection with our past lives, like still connected with, because again, it simultaneously exists right now, within us. Like, again, it's a never ending story. There's no beginning in a figure eight or an ending. It's the never ending story. And that's something too. You know, I've been realizing why it's been meant for me to tap into music a lot more as well too, because it's like, again, like mastery of the human experience, like, and being human, like, like the balance of, again, understanding like this not the end all be all, and at the same time I'm here for a reason, so let me carry out whatever it is I'm here to, you know in which honestly is literally as simple as raising the vibration, like, like doing whatever is in alignment with raising the vibration within this realm, because again, it's really starting with ourselves, like, we come up in here and deal with all this trauma, and it's like, like, I want to raise the vibration and not always suffer from this trauma, you know and again, keyword, not always suffer from trauma. We may have, again, like things that we constantly may go through. It's always like, again, it's pressure to make a diamond. It's always something that presents itself in order for us to create growth. Like, it's like, all right, damn, this situation exists now. So all right, and while you're trying to figure out how to, move from this, bam, and you get here, you done learn, all that little shit you was doing, right here, trying to learn, like, all right, bam, so that creates a learning process. Because again, if I'm just like, I'm not, there's nothing teaching me, again, like, and it's shown in everything, like when we lift weights, like, you're getting stronger because you're putting resistance against your muscles, and that's pumping the blood, you know. You say feeling this more, right? Say like your own DMT experience. Yeah, that human aspect. Again, because we could be like, oh man, fuck this human experience, and again, like, that's a part of, you know, from my experience, again, it's like we chose our situation, like we chose what, like, hey, I'm gonna come down at the angle of and not saying like it's just dealing with your sun sign, but just for example, matter of fact, with all angles, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna come down into this plane of existence when Saturn is at this angle with Sagittarius and the sun is at this angle, so I'm gonna learn from this perspective in this lifetime, and again, like uh I did the video on the 12 movie specialists, and like the 12 movie specialists, like again, this realm, like the illusion, the big show, and the 12 movie specialists, like the 12 zodiac signs, like getting you ready for your part in the show. We got together with all the 12 movie specialists, and it was like, you know, like this is the kind of character I want to be on this stage in this lifetime, in this part of the act. You know? And, matter of fact, as we're talking about again, like MF Doom with the mask transitioning, again, like right transition on October 31st, but didn't get announced to what yesterday, again, right before what the Gregorian calendar deems as the New Year's. So it's like again, we're in a moment where people wearing masks. It's like seeing all the different little again, like one song, no coincidences. So but again, the creative path, it may seem scary. It's like I don't see nobody else. And again, that's not to be doing anything just to like for the sake of being different. Let me just do some wild and outlandish shit, you know, like in that sense. It's like again channeling that uniqueness in a beautiful expression of yourself. Again, and just being again like just transmuting all the subconscious programming, or should I say subconscious trauma, and and creating our own programming, you know what I'm saying? And really just aligning with our inner being and expressing ourselves from there. But I was gonna joke nobody else, wearing, shawls and doing videos or, doing the things that I do, like nobody does what Dolo does, nobody does what Red or Blue Pill does, nobody does what, Brother Panic does, being in our uniqueness. But again, being aware to not do it for ego gratification. Like again, it should just be in the unique expression of like I'm feeling inspired to do this or whatever. Not like, oh, let me do this video to get a bunch of hits or to, you know what I'm saying? like again being impactful, like my like being able to express on a platform, like YouTube and like getting again as many subscribers as I got, like it was from the genuine aspect of like wanting to be impactful. Like how can I be impactful and how can I be genuinely, myself and my expression, the whole time, and again like and be as impactful as possible. Because again, also, understand the balance again, like not being outraged, like let me be myself, like like and doing all kind of crazy shit just to, oh, I'm different, But now if that was a unique expression of myself, of course, but again, like just being me, like and seeing with like with doing videos or anything of that nature, whatever you do is like being ourselves, because it's like I don't want to create no box of being like this fake perception of myself and then always have to play that role, you know. Like again, hence why it's like always being adaptable and not staying locked into one little aspect on our growth, in the sense of like when we see that it's something that needs to be transmuted or what needs to be removed, in some way, form, or fashion, you know, uh, taking care of that. Again, the growth is where the challenge is. It's easy to do whatever someone else is doing. Like it's easy for us to fit into the crowd, but it's very challenging. It feels challenging in this reality. And again, it was created that way. Pressure to make a diamond. It's like all this pressure that we feel to be like the masses or to be something that makes everyone comfortable. Like, like, oh, let me not wear this shawl in public, or let me not do this or that because they gonna think I'm crazy if I got like big crystal rings and wearing, like, you know, it's like again, it's a balance with being down to earth in our presentation, because a lot of us, again, like making sure we building, you know, and I say even building, but more so in essence, like just reconnecting with soul fam and creating in this reality, creating our worlds, in essence, because it is like again like practice of bringing the non-physical into the physical and making it, you know, something that you could touch and experience from a physical perspective. Because again, balance and equilibrium, not just staying in my crown chakra, not just staying in my root, but balance, a balanced flow of it. You know, certain breathing technique aspects are, I seen it spoken of as like the manifestation liberation cycle, where like as it moves from the crown to the root, like again that energy is the manifestation, again bringing it from the higher energy, making it physical, and then the going from the root chakra to the crown is the liberation flow, because it's like liberating from the physical, you know. And again, like it's that cycle. Because again, there's many different little loops. We got like little small loops in our day-to-day things that cycle within, let's just say, every 10 minutes something we do, and there's something that cycles, and every 10 hours that we do, and then there's something that cycles in every 10 days that we do, and there's a certain cycle in every 10 years, and every bam, and that just like, because in essence, that's what dealing with the psychedelics, mushrooms, they all somewhat do it. DMT not so much, but yeah, in essence, it still does, to for the most part, like, unfolds, like, and shines a light on your cycles, like, like what you're dealing with, what I'm saying, internally or subconsciously, you know, like it kind of like allows for it to unfold in front of you, in essence, in a manner that allows for you to, really see yourself. You know? Yeah, I am on Clubhouse. My one of my brethren just introduced me to the Clubhouse vibe. Again, because I be catching myself, man. Again, working on trauma, and that's like, we I could say partially this lifetime, but it's more so, again, like the bigger aspect of like here I am in the physical, not being scared to, interact and connect, and whether it's using the internet or not, like, I work with my shungite, you know what I'm saying? Like, because again, like, dealing with computers and stuff of that nature may have harmful waves and stuff like that. And at the same time, like, understanding that, all right, everything one and interconnected. So don't see it as an enemy, but something that, again, that you could work with, you know, because again, everything, like even water, has moments where it could be harmful to you. So again, like the whole lesson in, being in this realm too, in essence, is like, again, to take this, to remove ourselves from seeing it dual, like, and to see the oneness and everything, you know, like, uh, like every part has a negative and positive thing to it, again, even the things that may be considered the best things in life, you know, somebody like, oh, family good. Family could be good and bad. Like, family could be positive and negative. Being by yourself is good. No, it could be positive and negative. You know, drinking a lot of water is good. It could be positive or negative because you could overload your cells with water. Like, it's like every situation. So to label like, oh, doing clubhouse, or like, again, dealing with social media is bad, or because that's the internet, that's artificial intelligence, so it's just you know and again, thinking about, again, being multi-dimensional beings, and in our moment is like in a time machine, like, all right, I saw where I pressed that button that I shouldn't have pressed last lifetime, or in another dimension, so let me do it differently this time. Let me response, responsibility, my ability to respond. Let me respond differently, you know. So instead of treating that new thing, because I done been through a 400-year cycle of something showing me how it feels to be, feared, you know, aka, like going through slavery and going through that experience, like that comes from another being being like, oh, I'm scared. I don't know what that could do to me. I don't know what that artificial intelligence, or what that godly being, or what that whatever, what I'm saying, do to me. So let me like try to lock it up, and whatever. Now again, as I say, this is a personification of a universal story that's really just a story of energy, you know, just expressed in human form, you know. But again, what I went on that tangent. Or again, like fearing things and like, all right, so I'm not gonna do artificial intelligence. How I was once done in that sense of it. Because and again, not to, and we're doing this out of the sense of like transmuting energies within, like again, like my inner group, like because I realized, like, all right, that's it just doesn't make sense for me to look at something as bad and just give that whole label of bad, you know, because that what creates the delusion inside of me. So why would I do, I wouldn't, it's not best for my inner work. So why would it be best for me to operate like that externally? And again, and it's not in the sense of like, oh, let me try to save the world externally as much as again, like you save your inner universe to say, it's a benefit to the external realm, you know, like not trying to do it with the first and foremost aim of like, because again, like down here to be a beacon of that, again, what may be called the left hand path of being creative, of being like a MF Doom, like a Basquiat, like a James Brown, like a Pimp C, like a DJ Screw, like a, you know what I'm saying? Like to be that creativity, you know what I'm saying? That creative expression like Prince, Rick James, Ashe, 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 you know. But that comes with unique, that unique expression. And also commercial time. Because I always like to remind people too, like, people who donate, you could also donate by, getting you a piece, like getting you a nice little piece of rose quartz, but I got some new little pieces. And I call this style, even though everyone don't look exactly like a maze, I call this style rap the labyrinth. And again, that connection with, the labyrinth being a personification of, maneuvering through the maze of our subconscious mind, you know. And the Minotaur, because I forgot what stories with Theseus, Greek mythology, if I'm not mistaken. But long story short, it's like the Minotaur, trying to stop Theseus from getting out of the maze. And the Minotaur, also represent like that Taurus energy, or that, again, our lower nature, our sexual nature, because Taurus energy deals with the earth energy, the temporal aspects of our being, not that it's good or bad, right or wrong. Because again, in the story of the Bible, it's metaphysics, like when everybody worshiping a bull, it's like worshiping, that Taurian energy, and also representing them going through the age of Taurus in essence, you know. But again, like so they program with the energy, uh helping you to get to understand yourself to the fullest, and again, like making it through the labyrinth of your subconscious mind, and understand yourself. Because again, that's where the magic at. You know, the moon magic is emotional intelligence, being aware of what my feelings is letting me know, because my feelings is, you know, in connection again, like with my inner guidance, and let me know again, like our sole purpose ain't necessarily like upon my journey, and I saw it in both ways. Like it's just better for me to be fully in the moment, and as I see, like, so a balance, like I feel the vibe of like, all right, I am working with crystals. I do feel the vibe. I do like to, you know, connect with crystals, work with crystals, make the jewelry, you know. Oh, I don't feel probably. Let's see. I was talking about the balance to come back to. If it was meant, a satellite, got like a little three. And they do now. I do have them coming with chains, so they do come with a chain as well. Oh, and I got this one. This one was again got like a little, almost look like raw. And the backs of them saucy too, even though you know, yeah, unique. And I be having to balance myself out with that, like as a you know an artist and tapping into your unique expression, like. And I always spoke on this because it, for me, it always been relevant. It's like you know learning how to, you know, you could learn from somebody who previously done certain things in the area of what you're doing, but not doing it exactly like them in that sense. Because like that's why like I just started like looking up rap, like you know, crystal rap videos. But in essence, like you know, I like to intuitively, you know, just find my own way through doing it, you know, and you know, seeing what little style I may come up with, you know, but my own little unique creative expression. Yeah, the yeah, and, to inquire epic lifestyles on Instagram. Just message me on my epic lifestyles page on Instagram. Miss Master, mine. Miss Master, mine. Again, it's on Instagram. Like I'm doing it through Instagram, and you just message me, and I send you pictures of what's in inventory, and we go from there. Have a PayPal, Cash App, preferably PayPal, ready because I'm starting to send invoices now. You know, keep up with things. But and it's better for me to keep up with it through PayPal. So, because again, PayPal is a physical manifestation to allow for my current flow to get back to me. You feel me? That's all it is. It's energy movement. That's why they call it a currency, because it's a current flow of energy. So like, and honestly, like that's another thing too. Like, I'm so grateful for seeing how much, like, because I see where a lot of people got that vibe of like, oh man, 2020, you know, this and that. And of course, it depends on your perspective, you know. But like, again, like, this has been some of the most revealing, like, again, like the most revealing moments of my experience. Been like the last 2 years, like on some vibes, like, and I'm grateful even for the moments when it was like, it's like, oh, I didn't know that existed. Oh, that's not me. That can't be me. That gotta be somebody else. Like, nope. If you keep denying it, put you in a cycle to make you realize, like, to keep showing you that this is you until you accept it and work, and work from there. Because you ain't gonna never heal this area if you keep denying it and acting like it ain't you or it's because of somebody else, or Straight Panther, appreciate you, my brother, appreciate you. Yeah. And I always express that too, like any and all donations, greatly appreciated. And although I appreciate the super chat donations, it'll be much more valuable if you send a donation directly to me because YouTube be skimming a little bit off of the top. And at the same time, guess what? I'm grateful that I'm so abundant that YouTube can skim some off of the top and my abundance will still flow. Yeah, this little beat sound like a little game show. Mm. I said about the extra side. I didn't catch it. Oh, but, oh, matter of fact, again, it's been that it's never cutting off people or energies as much as us just again like focusing in and honing in on what we do, you know. Because again, like a lot of what we create, and indirectly is gonna be for the betterment of others around us. Just the fact that we vibrating on a high vibrational frequency due to enjoying our reality because we constantly maintaining our energy. That we walk in Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? Hence why some of us you experience if you get like as you start to grow your vibration starts to raise. For sure, animals like bees and certain animals, insects, kind of like come closer to you without like trying to fuck with you. Like they actually like the bee just land on you and be chilling. But that again, though, that's if you allow it, you know. But like, or what I was gonna bring up is like, being in LA, being around a lot of houses, people, I remember like, people would just like kind of just want to come and stand close to me, might be talking to themselves and not, but and I could tell that they literally kind of stopped to be in my little energy field. And then my inner guidance would instantly, let me know like, hey, bro, don't like bug out or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't like, oh, what you doing close to me? It's like, like, brother, and two, because I understand, like, that's why like when you think about Legion, any like time travel, multi-dimensional aspect, they always, usually depict that person as like having to deal with possibly having to go to the crazy house or something like that, or people thinking they crazy, or something of that nature, you know, due to that aspect. And ah, fell off. I forgot where that tangent was at, but I'll get back to it. Word, shout out to the cats. Shout out to Infinite Waters. When I say shout out to Infinite Waters, I get like, you know, there's a part of spirituality that get pushed that's kind of like a little, a little mainstreamy or whatever. And at the same time, I value any and all aspects of, where I learned from, and Ralph Smart videos helped me in a certain area of my growth. It's like again, like the soulmates, where it's like certain people that we come across from a past life, we meant to connect with them for a certain moment and move on, you know. Me and Ralph, but I thought about shout out to the cat down the road. I was gonna say the cat down the road. Because honestly, that's another thing though. Like again, like not being judgmental towards any aspect of myself, or to each his own on their growth. Of course, like being authentic and true in the expression of things, and again, like knowing that there is a certain part of uh, spirituality being expressed in that manner. But again, like so much on the growth, and I always realize that it's not so much about pointing out the frauds as much as it's about being the real. Like, like, and if something is fraudulent or whatever, again, like I don't have to spend my time like always pointing to it or saying like, hey, this is, fraudulent, or this is bad, or people who do this ain't shit or whatever. Like I ain't gotta constantly, do that, because if it really ain't shit or whatever, like I said, is, then it would show itself. And that would just kind of, if I keep hankering on that, that shows that maybe I'm holding on to something, and I'm, like I'm dealing with, not being able to let go of something. So that's why I always, again, like had that awareness to not like too much on the point out like what somebody else doing wrong type of vibe. It's like I'm too busy. Like again, like the old school vibes, like we say, I'm too busy trying to sweep my own porch instead of trying to sweep yours. Like, the season constantly changing. So, you know, at least once a year I gotta sweep the porch with the leaves, let alone, just in general. So gotta tend to my own temple steps, my own temple porch, rap, telling all their business. Hey, again, transition with clarity, MF Doom, creating our own unique universes. Mm, mm. But that's basically it, as far as what I was feeling, the vibe to speak on and deliver. And like stepping into the uniqueness. Look, I'm grateful that I'm able to, I think that's the only reason why I may be allowed to do so much videos, is because my delivery of it allows for it to be like you could, listen to it. Like it's easy on the ear, so to speak, because honestly though, again, and we all learn different, but like the energy that moves through the expression, just creative expression in general, again, like through the arts in any way, form, or fashion, through musical expression, like handmade craft, you know, handmade craft is musical as well. Because again, MF Doom, could also would stand for Metal Fingers, Metal Finger Doom, and it was like my little brethren that put me like matter of fact my excuse my diction, my younger brethren who put me on MF Doom because I wasn't on MF Doom like growing up like that. Like I got on MF Doom around like 2000 and I want to say like 7 or 8, something like that, where I started to like hear it more. Because again, my brethren, matter of fact, and again, like seeing that vibe, like the skateboard clicks and seeing like again that whole connection of like we talk about being your unique self is like because again the people seem like outcasts in a society where mostly everybody is being insane, you know again they ain't really outcasts, they being the authentic unique self, like, oh, look at this crazy guy wearing a mask all the time, but it's like, man, you being this unique self, look at you wearing your mask, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not being yourself, in that sense of it. Like tapping into the creative expression. Again, the dreams, like in the message, again, the archetypes of the mind, like that's literally what we dealing with is like psychology, psychology of our mind, of source, and again, and a lot of us realizing that this world, this realm is not the end all be all. And again, that's where everybody gain inspiration. It's like, bro, who almost everybody look like inspired by somebody who was uniquely themselves, like in some way, form, or fashion, you know? Like, and there's levels to it too. Cause some people like there's artists, you know, like say for instance, like like seeing how the little connection of like, well, I mean, it's all the same vibe. I caught myself. I was about to have a moment. I was about to an inner argument was about to be expressed outwardly until I realized, oh, that's an argument, and I'm not. So again, like I need to stop having this argument inside me, and I'm definitely not about to express it externally now that I know what's up. Uh, and any more questions or you know, we in here, we running it, man. Get too quiet in the chat. I feel like I'm a little animal being watched in the zoo. I don't want that. I'm not, as much as I can talk and just go on tangents. Uh, you know, I definitely, do the podcast vibe to interact as well as, because it's more so like again, like to be like a like a radio show in essence, but like in connection with metaphysics and seeing that just being again, like just being ourselves is metaphysical. It's really just becoming aware, like, oh shit, all the everyday shit I've been doing is connected to metaphysics. I just didn't know, you know, I didn't know that the way I play my clarinet or my flute or my drum was actually, connected to some universal vibrations and that it could actually shift, moods and feelings inside of my body and others' bodies, and those moods and feelings could either be shifted for healing or to cause, harm. Because again, you got the fact that they started to broadcast music like for the mainstream, like with the radio broadcasting and everything. They put it to 440 hertz, and 440 hertz doesn't provide like a harmonizing resonance, you know, and hence why we could again like being aware to start doing our music in different hertz and stuff like that. But again, like realizing something as simple as playing our instruments and doing music could be so healing. Because again, like the person who does Reiki, the person who does crystal work, person who does tarot readings, astrology readings, who lead meditations and yoga classes, at some point in their day, they have a little vibe where they drift back and they listen to some type of music. Even shit, again, even if it's music where it might be more tribal without no lyrics or whatever, but music. So it's like here it is what a healer, is getting healing from listening to music. You know. And also again, I always bring up like how comedians as well, like that's a creative energy, like and represent that air energy, because a comedian knows how to like present like what would be like a logical argument presented in a funny way that allows for you to see, the truth in a certain aspect, like about like how they might like again like making it be known how fucked up something is, but like they'll make a joke about it in such a way like, damn, all right, you see the truth in that. You can't deny that this shit be fucked up, but it was brought to light through the joking of it, you know what I'm saying? And again, seeing how laughter helps heal as well, like being able to laugh and shit, because again, laughter, dancing, like moving, like that all. And again, it's like back to the music aspect, and again, it's a direct reflection of consciousness in the sense of like, as our conscious awareness is growing, like we're becoming more aware of what's going on in our subconscious, aka the analogies of, shining the conscious light on the darkness or on the shadows, like so as we're discovering ourselves, and that also allows for us to be creative to the fullest again before any visualization could be a visualization. It's a blank canvas, it's like that, when you close your eyes, you just see blackness, like, and again, it's like that's the canvas for the creation, and how even again, as above, so below, as within, so without, how in the middle of the atoms, it's like 99% point nine, dark matter, or what is so-called dark matter, just like that void space energy, which allows for it to potentially be any and everything, at the same time. Again, like no thing and everything, and understanding that, like I am no thing and everything. I'm not too high, not too low, you know. Again, like the balance and equilibrium. Matter of fact, and that's cool. I even see that. Like I just thought about like how cursing or like just my general expression like of myself, it keeps me grounded. Like expressing myself like in like not trying to talk all high and holy and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really talk how you talk, like, because it provides like a grounding in essence. It's like, I don't know, feel like it like prevents me from floating away in essence. Right, right, right. Damn, I forgot MF made this beat. No, he didn't. That's all you see. And also speaking about that, like the representation of again, like on the esoteric level, you know, like hip hop music represents the inner child trying to create its own, you know. It's like, all right, I saw mom and daddy create jazz music, as I say, for example, but jazz is like its creation of its own. I done seen mama and daddy create, you know, jazz music and other, genres in that sense that like jazz is not like the only like created, you know, music genre, so to speak. But again, it's like one of the most popular, because it does, it has such a uniqueness to it. But again, it's like it's the personification of the inner child, like wanting to create his own, and the inner child creating his own by, you know, like, all right, how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna grab some of mom and daddy, records, you know, and I'm gonna, you know, like do it different. Like they want to allow for these records, because again, it's a little bit of rebellious energy in it. It's like, like all right, they always saying that this is the only way music, because again, like literally, that's why we create like old music, this old school music. It could only be like this, and music, like all right, I'll show you. Love and happy, every, yeah. make do wrong and bring it back. Love and happiness. You know what I'm saying? And like I show you, you know what I'm saying? Like that, that's kind of like that energy behind that. Again, like on the esoteric, you know, like energetic level, again, personification of the collective subconscious, it's like, again, like I'm gonna create my own and I'm gonna use some of what you taught me, and kind of put my own spin on it. Because even though you say it could only be done like this, mom and dad, I'm gonna show you that it could be done like this, and hip hop show like, hey, y'all call out me, y'all still cursing it and saying, some old school, some people who deeper into music get the artistry of, aspects of hip hop, you know, because again, mainstream promoted rap ain't all of, ain't a representation of all hip hop, but like, again, like that vibe of like, again, I'm gonna create my own and do my own and use some of what my mom and dad had, and whip up something with that. Because and reason why I got to this, because again, like I'm listening to this, and this is a sample joint, MF Doom sampled that, and that's also kind of like the little persona of like the villain, and again, like by calling himself MF Doom, the villain, you know, now this is me, my theory, because then I see how things like this work, psychologically when we're doing our work with ourselves, like like having that persona of the mad villain, like, and so in other words, like I'm embracing my shadow aspect. I embrace that there's a villain in me, or in the aspect of where, by default, the way the universal law works in this realm, something could view me as a villain even if I'm helping. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm gonna call myself, the villain, you know what I'm saying, in that sense, when really I'm doing the totally opposite, but again, and I'm doing it though, and I'm great at doing it because I integrated the villain within me, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, like the shadow aspects of ourselves being integrated together. So again, like playing with those different personages, allows for us to, exercise that expression. Because I think about Tyler Creator with having all these different, like, oh, I am Wolf, or I'm such and such, like having a different moniker or little name, and it's kind of represent also like a different little part, of himself being expressed, like again, like having love personification for when I'm making love songs, I make love albums. So in wrestling, you had Do Love, uh, with Do Love, Mankind, and Cactus Jack, where basically Mick Foley played like three different wrestlers, you know. And again, balancing and harmonizing these aspects within ourselves. Because again, that's where it turns into schizo, is when each part is not feeling like it's being honored. So, ooh, the movie Split. So we got brains up. So the movie Split kind of shows that, where like literally it so, but like it was parts of his conscience that was like trying to get into the light of his consciousness, to be the one that's like, like talking and like, and sometimes the woman character where he would walk and talk like an English lady, and and then another part. But again, that split happens when we not, matter of fact, and again, Carl Jung, you know, again, his work being very helpful to that area of understanding the mind. But like when I always try to put a little bit too much on what I was just saying with the movie Split, and getting, oh, all right, and again, like not acknowledging, these certain aspects of ourselves, it gets to a point where it's like, all right, since you keep pushing, man, I exist and I'm here. I'm like, cause and it's obvious I exist because every time I show myself, you keep trying to push your foot on my head, like and saying, go back in the shadow. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna find a way to get this light. I'm gonna make sure I could find a way to get a hold of this conscious light. Be, you know what I'm saying? Like be the one holding the light. And in essence, like, and again, schizophrenia, all that is really, again, it's all like a spiritual, it's all energy work and spiritual work. And again, like dealing with our mental, because if universal law is all is mind, all is mental, then of course our own inner mental health, dictates our universe that we're creating, you know. So again, if I keep trying to push a certain aspect, to the side like that, not acknowledge it as a part of me, it creates that, that split. But that was a dope Patricia. Yep. Because Lee can go deep into that too, like understanding repressed memories and like, how running away from a certain part in our subconscious and not facing it, again, disrupts what we doing in the now moment if we're not sitting down to understand it and see what's going on. But again, we're not, the process of individuation is what it's called in the book. So the book by Carl Jung called a man in his symbols. Let me make sure. Yep, A Man in His Symbols by Carl Jung is one of the last books. My cover came off. Matter of fact, the cover came off and it split. It was a little old one, but I'm gonna get another one. I was on a vibe where it's just as long as I could read it, I'm good. I could go back to the last bookstore and get another one. But then they talk about it's real good with, again, like understanding the subconscious in connection with our reality, with creating our dream, because it's all, this is a dream world. It's like a dense version of a dream world that we're experiencing, you know. And I talked about daydreaming in another in an Instagram live video I did, and it's on my Instagram if you want to check it out. But speaking on it, briefly in the sense of like realizing that, a lot of cases I didn't have to dream as much because, or like I didn't have to get like a lot of prophetic dreams as much because I was seeing the prophecies unfold within my day, like within my what we call awakened state. I'm able to see the subconscious cues and seeing like, all right, this person doing that represents this part of my subconscious, or or that this person is. I'm still connecting with that, or you know what I'm saying. Like I could pick up on, like everything that is speaking to. And again, back to doing the work of like also realizing you won't be able to do the work if you like gonna feel embarrassed about facing a certain aspect of yourself. Because again, that comes also from a little vibe of feeling like, oh, I should be here or there, like, oh, I shouldn't, you know, again, be going through this or going through that, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you're going through is what you're meant to be going through. But see why where did I tangent? Talking about split. Oh, and the process of individuation, connection with dreams. And again, like, like integrating the shadow aspect, aka just that the suppressed part of our subconscious mind. the stuff that we grew up like trying to push to the side, or that we deemed as something bad, or if it comes up in my mind, that's bad, like, because again, like that's what allows the healing. Like sometimes we have to sit there and face the moment. Like for some of us, it may be like you might have got molested or raped, or got hit by a car, or something traumatizing, that also, because it's a balanced situation, again, like that you have to face. Like you have to face that situation. You can't just deny it, because again, if you keep pushing it down, it's gonna keep coming up in some kind of way. Because I'm realizing again, like that's a part of the flow of it, is just understanding, like within my moment to moment, like how am I responding or reacting? Like how am I, reacting to create certain lesson loops, and how should I respond, or how have I responded in other moments to certain lesson loops? But just having that awareness. But again, I could honestly say, like, just building the strength and intuition, everything, and being fully present in the moment, things just flow from there. You talk when you need to talk, do what you need to do when you need to do it, meet who you need to meet when you need to meet them, you know, go wherever when it's meant for you to go, whatever. Mm. Right. Create that balance. As I look at the clock reaching 2:22. Man, appreciate and love all y'all. Cause that's how I realize again what I be having to do with like my videos and stuff like that. It's like allow for me to feel my way through it, and like not think so much about it. Cause again, I did go through a vibe of like wondering, oh man, should I keep doing videos and things of this nature? But it was more so like not deferring my videos, like again, like knowing that I want to do music more, so do it, like, because again, and that's something again, like also seeing that a lot of, because again, it all goes back to energy. I could be like, oh, well, I'm not doing music because I don't have this, or I don't have that, or I'm not. It's deeper than that. It's like it's coming from possibly a subconscious programming from a guardian or something, where they said, "Oh, doing music ain't shit," or you ain't living unless you're doing this or that. You know what I'm saying? And with that in our subconscious, even though we recognize that it makes sense to follow our dreams, we still may not, you know, do it, because again, like that little voice kind of subtly, you know, stopping us from being confident in doing that, because it's like, oh, but what if like such and such say is not gonna go through you or whatever. But gotta trust. I got to a point too. That's why I want to do more podcast videos, and not necessarily so much like, again, like if I want to have like by while I'm teaching, something like that. Let that be more like in a seminar form, or like, a lecture, or like, or like for my Patreon, or where I do a Zoom meeting or something like that. But do that for that, and YouTube is more so for metaphysical, you know, metaphysical inspiration, in essence, like not like looking to be entertaining in the sense of like I'm here to entertain, but more so like, because that is not necessarily the word I want to use, but more so like, something that would be intriguing to watch, like something that is valuable to watch other than other things on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in some way, form, or fashion, if we're gonna be watching something, you know, it could be, a video with somebody expressing, things that's inspiring, and breaking down the aspects to that help perceive things a different way that actually change. Like, again, shout out to my brother Josh, saying, watching a video that may change the way I perceive things, so the things that I look at change. When I change the way I look at things, the things I look at change. But again, it's like, why not? But again, it's definitely though on a level where I want to definitely make sure that I'm doing some real substantial work. Like, well, YouTube ain't just like my bread and butter. Like, I ain't with that. So again, that's another thing. Like, having to, you know, fall back a little bit to establish some, some foundation, and in areas that's gonna allow for me to be grounded and progress, so that if I do, or when I do, when I do create like a family, or whether it be again like from my own loins, as they would say, what I'm saying, or just soul family, but creating something that could be left, because again, all you got is just YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, the internet shut off, nigga. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real though, you know what I'm saying? On some real shit. So it's definitely, again, gotta come with something that is really like something you could hold and touch. Because again, that's why I didn't come here to be a whisper in the wind. Hey, universal legacies. I like the way that sound. Beautiful. Ain't nobody say that legacy is like Claudia say that like ain't nobody say now another like you say now another pilot. Yeah. Ain't not another like can't get a now another out of there. Now another. But I'm appreciating this again, still making things happen, but it's definitely a reflective vibe, coming through right now. Because I've been feeling that too. Like, every time it kind of comes around to like my solar return, aka birthday, like it gets real reflective and real. Like, I can almost see and feel the growth and pinpoint, and feel with ease like the changes that's necessary to be made. You know, because again, it's the winter time. Not that doesn't mean we not turning up and still enjoying and stuff like that. It just means, again, Like this is we don't have to push through. Like again, it's the winter time, it's less sun out for a reason. Again, nature is speaking in the way nature is. Like, hey, that's not to say, oh, because the sun not out, as much, don't, you know, do whatever it is that we love and keep that passion and, you know, staying with it. It doesn't mean that. But I shade to MF Doom, taking the masses off. Again, for what we may call, 2021. But I think that's it. I'll just check my little notes again. If I didn't dive into that notion, again, like you could be more, like you go through the vibe, do you want to be seen more or be more impactful? And again, like it's a balance of both. I think about like Toby the Wigway. Uh, he had that little clip on his song Cage Birds. And he like, man, I'm doing this to be, I wanted to get out to the people. So again, like, our creative expression, we do want people to, to share that experience. We want to share that experience, you know, and we could do it without having to, chase the fame aspect as much as it's like I'm looking to be impactful and I wanted to be seen as well, because again, like as much as I was doing it, like my videos on YouTube, again, like I do it for the genuine aspect of expressing things to be of value for others. I also wanted to be heard. Like again, I'm like, I understand the value that could be shared if it got shared to the masses. So it's like, why not, have that, that energy of it being expressed, like again, but not through the the main objective of like, because I'm gonna have my name in stars and like, that's again, for the impact. Because again, DJ Screw, K Reno, both Houston, K Reno still, in the flesh. DJ Screw in transition. But like again, noticed by like, how many any other lyrics, like whether than reference Screw, how you screwed up, or jamming slow music like Screw, or purple like Screw, or you know what I'm saying? People who, like Screw ain't never been on no billboard. Screw ain't DJ Screw ain't in the Hollywood stars, but DJ Screw knew he was a star without having to, like again, the story of how when he started making his mixtapes, like he had people lined up around the block, so much so to where the feds thought he was slinging drugs. And it's in connection with them, what I'm saying, being the hood, lyrical content speaking on it. But even still, it's like it was just tapes. You know what I'm saying? People lining up to get Screw tapes, and even the uniqueness of that experience, like, like the valued experience. Cause even myself, like, bro, get my hands on a Screw tape. It's like, bro, this is an actual Screw. Like, you don't understand, like, and the value and how that, holds treasure and value for me, you know? Because again, in currency and money, like what we may call money or whatever, and what we exchange is like what holds value for us as a collective. Because if I value music like you value music, then if I give you the screw tape, you know, for this service are good, or next time around I give you my Prince album for, you know what I'm saying? Like that could actually be a thing, you know, and just again like speaking on it from that expression of it, but again, like that's a that's a loving moment, and that's a raised vibration. Like that's all that matters in that moment. Like when that person got that screw, like, hey, yeah, we're about to jam my new screw tape, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Deuces out the roof. You know what I'm saying? Like that. What's wrong with that? You know? Yeah, in that moment, that person not getting introduced to metaphysics and what your Merkaba is, and you know what I'm saying. But again, it's an inspirational step towards being in a high vibration to get to a place to, you know, learn more about that. If that's in your path to learn, because that's all. That's another thing too. Like if it's in your path, you know, if I don't say it, you're gonna get it and learn it from somewhere. You know, and again, it's not meant for us to learn. You know, like again, or should I say, like, you know, to use somebody else as a source for everything. It's like, you know, but, you know, and again, shout out to K. And again, like, because even with that aspect, like, because looking at that, like, seeing how, because even hits on YouTube and stuff like that don't, you know, like, it's just how impactful you are, you know, in essence, and how many people you reach and inspire. Because here it is where I got more subscribers on my YouTube channel than K Reno, but K Reno is again like done been in places and done learned so many things that I have yet to, you know, tap into, and especially on the human experience, you know, like and again, so them numbers don't, you know what I'm saying, like that just mean how many people, you know, decided to subscribe again. And it's a balanced situation, of course, you know, in which though that's how it works though, the popularity will come inevitably. Like inevitably everybody's gonna know who K Reno is, you know, because of, again, like as he consistently spit that raw vibes, and again, like, and touching on all bases, like from metaphysical to your average everyday, like going, getting on my bike and going to the stove type of song, you know, like, and again, been doing this since before Scarface was rapping, and Scarface, you know, it is like again, Ghetto Boys was out like in the late '80s, you know, and so it's like, and I have that perspective too strongly of like saying where you don't have to like go to mainstream, because again, like with Tobin the Wigwig, I didn't see him off of like MTV or BET. I saw him on my phone. I forgot what, you know, how I came across one of his video, or maybe his Instagram, you know, and like, all right, let me see who he is. And again, as long as you got your own video cameras and all that, like again, like I just, bro, the video I just did, you know, it's like I didn't need nobody popular or fan. I just had to do it, you know. But that's the thing, like, you know, it comes with, you know, just putting in that unique work. And again, we literally seeing the subconscious of the music game being integrated into the consciousness of the mainstream music game. Because after all the substantial artists and people who's gonna be like, oh man, you know, R.I.P. to MF Doom and Transition with Clarity. That's gonna cause others to say, well, hey, let me see. I never heard of him. Let me go see what he made, or I heard of him, but I never listened to him. Let me go check out. And it's like, oh my goodness, you know, and it's like, again, like, oh damn, that's a part of my subconscious I didn't even realize existed. You know, and again, like it's a literal, like again, collect internally, externally, you know. So now that part of music, you know, and again with the internet the way it is, and the way we starting to realize the power and what we focus on is gonna be less of like looking to billboards or stuff like that for validity. Because in the sense of it, automatically with our energetic work, what should be being done? I should I shouldn't be looking for external validity. Like that's a spiritual work. Forget the business of music or whatever or doing something like before even getting to that with myself. You know, I shouldn't be looking for validity. Like you know, if I feel my music dope, like if I'm doing my music, I should, you know, I be feeling it. I should feel it, you know, and not like, oh, but let me see if it's valid to like let my. And again, not to say when we let people listen to our music, but it's like, you know, like looking for somebody opinion or external opinion or something or input to see if what you're doing is valid, you know, and this is valid as you want to make it. As many whack rappers and you know, let me say whack, but you know, like people who aren't very skilled, and it was evident that they were trying to be skilled because some rappers do purposely try to not sound good, you know. In essence, I feel like Lil B was kind of like trying not to rhyme, and hence, you know, the bass guy, like, hey, you know, because again, like that aspect, uh, where you know, being gods and not from an individual perspective, you know, in the sense of like I'm God, the ruler over you. It's just understanding like, you know, what you represent in your creative expression in the flesh, you know, and again, like not making it seem like it's like I'm God over this. But again, like I think about like because the 5% nation brethren are used like, you know, the terminologies like I'm this God or that God, you know. But we tapping into understanding that like we always understood these things, and it's only because we've been under, you know, again slavery and all these different aspects. But we've been through these traumas placed there, you know what I'm saying? By we chose this path, you know. But it's been placed there, you know, to deter us from that understanding, you know, or to try to dampen our awakening, you know. And again, this is a awakening in like to whoever is awakening, you know, because again, the melanin aspect plays a factor, and at the same time, just because you have melanin don't mean you automatically, you know, like again, that's where us the terminology that sound cliche, but like doing the work, you know, because I could have a Ferrari, but if I don't know how to drive that bit, I run it dead into the wall. You know, I just let it sit there, not use it. When somebody might have a little bug and they swerving they little bug, they little geo what's the little small geo prisms or something. Swerving they little geo prism like skirt, skirt. You know? Cause again that's and I definitely like to express that for those because I'm again about expressing it for the truth for what it is, you know, again like as you raise in vibration, there's no more of that like race baiting or race war. Like, cause again, and it's the balance of understanding just because somebody used the terminology. Like for practical purposes, of course, when I'm telling a certain story, I'm be like the colonizers or the white man, or even if I wanted to joke and like say crackers or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because again, a shout out to comedians and shit for like, you know, saying stuff like to not like, oh, yeah, like you can't say faggot crackers, like all these did like and again, with all these words, like understanding like how to transmute them and laugh at ourselves instead of separating ourselves with them, you know? Because again, like come in and present it and like you'll see like a white comedian like, oh yeah, y'all might call me a cracker and this and that, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Like shadow working it, you know, like that's what that's what Eminem did in this freestyle battle. It's like, look, I'm about to shadow. You call me a trailer park bum. You had sex with my mom. Yeah, all that shit. But fuck it, nigga. I am who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, it, I do realize what you know. Cause and reason why I bring that up because I've seen myself like from certain programming have little cringe moments. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, nigga, why are you cringing for that joke? Like, for real. It's like, you know, and again, like the everything we dealing with right now is about integration. As far as for those of us who, you know, choosing that route in this lifetime is to, you know, be aware of how to integrate ourselves and be whole and again like understand ourselves to the fullest, you know, and seeing the value of this now moment, no matter if I'm in a dense version of a dream world and I'm in cells in a body or whatever. It's like I'm here, I'm now it's vibrating. Well, shit, you know, let me start at, well, why am I here? Because if I feel like, you know, again, like if I feel that much like there's something wrong with, let me discover why I feel like something wrong with this, you know, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. Again, I still realize like, I'm going through still some little small little ego debts. Mine's be in the area more so just of like trying to control things, like not trying to micromanage every little, you know. It's like yes, we do have like an aspect of goal settings and ideas of like what we're planning, you know, or what we're creating right now going into the future is again not to the point of like trying to micromanage and plan, you know, because again everything has already been overly masculinized and overly logical and thrown everything off balance. What brings back balance right now is, you know, tapping into, you know, the divine feminine a little more. And again, like it's coming in just a little more, like it's gonna feel, because I had to catch myself of like, well, you know, like it's feeling like having to understand, like, all right, yes, the divine feminine is coming in more, but nothing is wrong. Like it's not like something that's trying to shift me or, you know, it's like understanding that again, all of my ideas and ways of thinking of things and dealing with things in the last few existences in this realm, you know, have dealt with things being very strongly masculine and dealing with the fear of the divine feminine, you know. So the only thing to balance that out is to, you know, bring that in and again, like to express that divine feminine in a manner, in a harmonizing manner, is to realize to not like, because again, like, well, ego arises in the feminine, like, oh, let me take over the masculine. And it's like, oh, well, fuck it, we're about to just be off balance in this direction, you know. Well, you're a force. If you're not doing art and creating, you get shot. Like, like again, like that would be the extreme of that realm. Like, it's off with your head if you're not like all the way into the feminine energy, you know, and that's still off balance. Again, it's like equilibrium. If the scale been off balance like this, well, this the heavy side, been more weight on this side than this side. In order to balance the scale out, I gotta put more weight on this side. Cause guess what? Say for instance, like if let's just put equal weight on both sides. Well, in an unbalanced scale, in a scale that's already unbalanced like this, if I put the same amount of weight on both sides, this scale is gonna stay the same. It's not gonna move, you know. So that's the part of the illusion of like, oh, equal, let's just spread it equally. Nah, you see, you got to understand the whole story and how balanced things been, and you know what I'm saying. Realize, well, we dealing with all balanced situations, so in order to balance this off balance situation, needs some weight over here, so this scale could start to do it. Then when this side rises, then we could like, all right, let's maintain. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like, because it's also the opposite, but the same. It's like putting weight on this side, but to like it's like, oh, off balance again. In which that's the name of the cycle in the game too. It's kind of like again, like, oh, wait, wait, and say for instance, how it just took me a couple of seconds for my hands to move like that on a macrocosmic cycle. That hand move, it could have been like 24,000 years of me moving my hand from right here, then another little 20,000 years from right here. Again, like how a ant, like the perspective of like how a fly, you know, like when we go to swing at it, you know, we looking like this to that fly. Because literally, we like in a different dimension just off of our size. And that even is a cool perspective to like peep out. It's like, damn, like, like even being in a different size in this reality is like being in a different dimension in that sense of it. But like again, like that fly sees it coming. So what seems like a quick 0.7 second swipe to me was like, nigga, in a fly person, because I know if I was like, again, from a human perspective, if we saw somebody like, we'd be like, damn, it's taking him about 20 minutes to swing at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and seeing how the perception of and how time is just a construct built for just for the practicality in some cases, but also again, anything unbalanced could be harmful. So it could lock you in to, not say lock in, but more so like you like worried about time so much and not realizing that it doesn't, even really exist on that level. But again, like it depends on the perspective. So to that fly, it's like you taking like 1,000 years to swing, you know. Again, because these cycles of the planetary bodies, literally the stars, like imagine like the stars, like a constellation is fighting with another constellation that's moving and they actually like dancing or battling, but from like again from a different perspective. Like again, it seems like it's moving so slow and like this, but in that perspective, it's like yo move. And then to us, it's like, damn, it's taking like 1,000 years for this star to get right by this other star. About 1,000 years for this, when it's only seeming like seconds to, from a different perspective. Yeah, this is a celebration of our unique path, stepping into the uniqueness, not even stepping into, allowing for it to unfold, because we already it, you know, just sharing a lot of, programming. I'm about to be out, y'all. Don't forget to hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? That help with the algorithms, you know what I'm saying, for the videos to be seen. Also to hit the little notification bell if you want to be notified every time I do a video. Of course, subscribe if you're vibing with it. Again, and then all donations greatly appreciated. My donation links is usually in the details underneath mostly all of my videos, but so if you feel like, and if you want to donate in a sense, but get you something again, equal exchange, because again, you're getting the equal exchange if you donate. If you donate, you feeling like the videos have given you that exchange. But of course, again, if you want to tap in with the crystal jewelry, I have that as well. You can reach me through my Epic Lifestyles page on Instagram. So again, don't forget to check out the music. Song with Jazz and me. Yeah, don't forget to definitely support. Okay, if you just open your mind, look, all these words we could find. I say Instagram. iTunes, Apple Music, Deezer, YouTube Music, Spotify. But definitely. I said, I wonder why they testing me. We design our destiny, so you can't get the best of me. No way. Okay, consider this energy. Synonymous with divinity. Problems keep coming and going infinity. Come let us grow to some synergy. Come on, let's go for a ride. I promise you ain't been this high. This is a beat you can't climb. All of the dreams on my mind, I quiet them all over time. We pray for nickels and dimes. Now I get half by the pound. I became whole over time. Love yourself in your mind. Like, damn, hold on, now wait. All of these days, we've been holding on to the weight. Like, damn, hold on, wait. Okay, look, remember when I was in last, cause they never mind, the bitch is too bad, cause I'm in my bag, you hold my line, so now I'm at go ass in behind, pull on my drawers, it ain't bragging, I ain't lying, am I on a high horse, heaven knows, Lord knows that I know I never motherfucking mind, cause how in the hell it fell from behind, you too caught up in a space where there's not enough breaks over time, you do the math, add up them bags, sure to subtract, all the bullshitting from bags, so you can see with whom you equally match, as a matter of fact, although we just matter in mass, I know in the back of my mind, I'm blessed to be fielding these questions from those who's been seeking the answers, that's doubting these prophets, that's preaching for profit and spewing false knowledge like it's not a problem and they shouldn't stop. It was factually true, cause high in the hell they fell off from behind. You too caught up in a space where there's nothing to break over time. You know the math, add up the bag. Okay, if you just open your mind, look, all these words we could find, you'll be divine over time.
Okay, if you just open your mind, look all these worlds we could find. We'll be divine over time. Okay, wonder why they testing me. We design our destiny, so you can't get the best of me, no way. I said I wonder why they testing me. We design our destiny, so you can't get the best of me, no way. Okay.
Life is what you make it. Sometimes you gotta sit and strip the subconscious naked. Like I love manifesting, but can I get out this matrix? Seems complicated, but it's really simple and basic. Hey, get inside the now moment like a searching seizure. Now is the vibrate. Hey, I say, I imagination, create my destination. Main occupation is mastering transformation. Thinking source for the skills that was latent. Don't be overthinking. As the portal shrinking, big booty with her eye winking. Tootie taught me the facts of life. Vesica Pisces, sacred geometries. Bounce music, booty bouncing. Indigenous vibe, good life creating spiritual synergy. We design our own destiny. Jazz B, I trust that they hearing me. That's why you only need one Odyssey. Like 2001, Space Odyssey. Like my name was Stanley Kubrick, filming my own movie, infinitely moving.
Okay, if you just open your mind, look all these worlds we could find. We'll be divine over time. Okay, if you just open your mind.
But definitely, man, y'all look. Definitely support. And the video is also, so we also got the video.
I said I wonder why they testing me. We design our destiny, so you can't get the best of me, no way. Okay.
Speaking of minds, worlds, and divine over time, I am grateful for the growth of my universal shine. And how motivate come expand my universal mind. Oh, my kundalini rising up my spine. So I also got the video. The energy is inside of me. So again, support. And I'm the creator. Really no appreciate it. And I accept full accountability. Like people would definitely value. And see, like this aspect. It's all in my name. I love what I do. It's right now. So of course I'm going. Why wouldn't I share what I do? Why do I have to be scared or ashamed? I feel like, oh, I'm doing too much if I'm sharing. And even in that moment right there, I realize I'm transmuting that energy because I ain't even have to do all of what I ain't even had to say all of what I just said. But I'm grateful that I love myself unconditionally. And I allow for myself to, to grow in the moment. But yeah, definitely, again, because that's another thing too. I did a giveaway where I asked everybody to finish off my verse. And nobody was able to finish off the verse. So I'm like, all right, nah, we can't be having that. Can't be having that. Yeah. Real talk. And I'm grateful to find that balance within, again, like expressing myself through music and seeing the value of like not being afraid to promote, what I do, because that within itself is a subconscious block. Like, why should I feel like I'm doing something wrong for promoting music? And that could again come from that spiritual vibe of like, well, spiritual people, like that's a distraction to promote your music, to promote the universal expression of yourself. That's a distraction. Why? It's like, you got to really sit with yourself and weigh those things out and be like, where the fuck that's coming from? Like, what little voice inside of me? It's like, oh, hey, little me from kindergarten that's still holding on to what we heard from the teacher. Bro, let that shit go. Like, I love you. I ain't gonna judge you for holding on to that shit, but we letting that shit go. come on and integrate with all of us, and let's have fun. I'm out, y'all. Peace. Y'all already know. Appreciate that, Isis Aaron. All right, Heavenly Rogue. I think I probably could click on the link, like click on your name and get to your page. What I'm about to say. Excuse me. If not, leave a link in the comments so I could go straight to it. But man, much love and blessings. And matter of fact, like my brethren Odell, uh, it's like flourishing. I was like, bro. I had one of those moments where, like again, when he said flourish, I'm like, bro, like that shit just sound like that's some like word magic. Like that's the type of word magic I want to be saying. Like it's words like flourishing. You know? It's like everything is flourishing. It just sounds smooth and abundant. Like that's flourishing sound like abundantly smooth. Like I'm flourishing, baby. You just out here flourishing, you know what I'm saying? Just flourishing your dig. Out here flourishing, le flourish. But I don't know what the le flourish mean. Le flourish. But again, bro, much blessings, love, prosperity, flourishing, balance, wholeness, all that good stuff. Really, all that balance stuff. But but again, appreciate everybody. Much gratitude. Again, Instagram also linked in the should have like a little icon link on the YouTube page as soon as you come to the page, and then also in my description as well, because I also do lives on IG as well. So definitely. Yeah, and right, again, these sessions really do be like therapy. Like I be, bro, I'm grateful. That's all I can say. Grateful. Yeah, we're gonna leave out on a doom vibe. It's only right. Tap into some doom. Let's see. I'm gonna just go with.
Things take a turn for the worse.
Let's pick a random one. I do not own the rights to any of this music.
Good to the last drop niggas, good to the last pop the bigot ass piglets. And from the bosses, dicks are higher. Beat walkers don't get caught up in the crossfire. Get at the sarge, you give the orders. The rest of them punks quit the force and get slaughtered. Use stealth, play alleys, jet. We'd rather not alert them those who fell in rallies. Yet, keep the local random cases in each state. Escape to the beach for the season and be straight. You on call, keep your nights on tight, no white. Anybody tell, get lighted on sight. The ringers on a need-to-know basis. No persons, places, things, no faces. Get back on your own, acting alone. Back home, your family be provided for while you gone. It's a price on all snitches. If you nice, bring back eyes, fingers, toes, and pictures. Send copies to those who sing in the blues. Mothers and fathers who's unjustly accused. Our species is in danger. Wear gloves and strike in a city where you a stranger. Gotta let them fools know. Send them a message, let them POWs go. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now you have your orders, do your duty. A new way to
I'm about to vibe and play music for how the audio is. Let me know how the audio is.
Wait to waste a prosecutor, maybe get the case pulled. Learn them a lesson for giving pros mass stresses. Along with the CEOs, names and addresses. A fake judge with many years on the bench and sent some good cash to the chair. Was in the trench. They say her tongue was teared out, spared and dressed. The whole system scared and doubt and the fear stench. That she was tortured, some say post-mortem. The suspect took his own life before they caught him. It's real spooky, like a real Christ movie. Remember the part the Terminator killed Tookie. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. If they get the villains around the sun, shed blood. Some of me shook and just look with their head in the mud. Red flood. One of the things we ran into the unknown. We couldn't get up the door pull as quick as we wanted to. And once we did finally pull the door and breach the interior door, there's a man trap inside of it. They say that man trap is a cage. Before we run in, we're stuck in there and they can shoot us while we're stuck in it. So we're going to stand on perimeter. We did have some shots fired right down the street on us while this was going on, so we got to set up a tight perimeter. We got the streets blocked off to make sure we don't have any drive-bys on us. Other than that, the operation went fairly well. What is it come on?
Oh, God, go to the track. Heaven, gotta play that. Hey. That's shame, bro. Matter of fact, bro, I think I gotta get a little.
The clock tick faster. That'll be the hour they knock the slick blaster. Take dastardly and monthly we sit laughter.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Come to cut the mix master. ICE cold. Nice to be old. Y2GC twice to threefold. He sold scrolls, flow and behold. No killers ever like the greatest story told. Keep your glory golden glitter. For half of this niggas take him out the picture. The other half is rich and it don't mean shit to. Feeling a mix in between both with a twist of liquor chasing with more beer. Tasting like truth for dear when he at the mic. It's like the place get like, oh yeah. It's like they know what's about to happen. Just keep your eye out like I capping. Is he still a fly guy clapping if nobody ain't hear it? And can they testify from in the spirit? And living the true gods. Giving y'all nothing but the lick like two broads. Got more lyrics than the church got two lords. And they hold the mic in your attention like two swords. Or you the one with two blades on it. Hey you, don't touch the mic like it's AIDS on it. Yeah, it's like the end to the means. Fuck type of message that sends to the fiends. That's why he bring his own needles. And get more cheese than Doritos, Cheetos, or Fritos. Slip like Freudian, your first and last step to playing yourself like accordion. But he had the mic in Rolex. Even pussy cats like why hoes need Protex. Exercise index won't need both flex. And won't take the one with no skinny legs like Joe Tex.
Ashay. See that Sade sample again, like how I was talking about, like taking the old school, like, hey, mom and daddy. See, mom and daddy, I can make music like the people you like too. And make my voice an instrument. And do all this shit without you even realizing how much of an artistry of what I'm doing is.
Another cop don't drop. Old mics like ponytails tight.
Bubble up.
Stop, stick around. Come through and dig the sound of the fly brown 606 cycle. Who those who stick around? Bound to go deep black. Came to destroy rap. It's an intricate plot of a b-boy strap. Fem stack cats get kidnapped. Then release a statement to the press. Let the rest know who did that. Metal fist terrorists. Claim responsibility. Broken household name usually set in hostility. What is MF? Usually I like to take men to the end for 2 million.
That's an audio dated double. I'm sorry. Bring that back, Stu. I say. In true fashion.
I used to cop a lot, another cop no drop. Old mics like ponytails tight and bobble ops. Stop, stick around, come through and dig the sound of the fly brown 606 cycle. Who those who stick around? Bound to go deep black. Came to destroy rap. It's an intricate plot of a b-boy strap. Fem stack cats get kidnapped. Then release a statement to the press. Let the rest know who did that. Metal fist terrorists claim responsibility. Broken household name usually set in hostility. What is MF? Usually I like to take men to the end for 2 million. That's the audio daily double. Rappers need to fall off just the same in the trouble. Yo, watch your own back, get in and go out alone black. Stay in the zone, turn H2O to cognac. On Tuesday, ever since the womb till I'm back with my brother went. That's what my tumor say. Right above my government duality. Either unmarked or engraved, hey, who's to say? I wrote this one in BCDC O section. If you don't believe me, go get bagged and check then. Cell number 17, I'm under the top bunk. I say this not to be mean, was bad like a pop trunk. Pop the trunk, you see cyberpunk, leave him left scrape. God forbid, if ain't no escape, blame a left take. Definition super villain. A killer who loved children, one who is well skilled in destruction as well as building. My city selling teachers the trife to be trifer. I'm trading science fiction with my man, a live lifer. A Pied Piper, holler a rhyme, a dollar and a dime. Do his thing, ring around the white collar crime. Get out my face, ask about my case, need toothpaste. Professor man, monkey style, nigga, to death to death. It's on feast, still they tease. Shook niggas turn witness. Real men mind their own business. That's the difference between sissy pissy rappers and double dutch. How come I hold the microphone double clutch? COs make rounds, never have ox found on shakedown, lockdown, wet dreams of Fox Brown. On doomsday, ever since the womb till I'm back where my brother went. That's what my tumor say. Right above my government duality. Either unmarked or engraved, hey, who's to say? Doomsday, ever since the womb till I'm back to the essence, reading off the tomb. Either engraved or unmarked grave, who's to say? Pass the mic like pass the beats like they used to say. Some MFers don't like how Sally walk. I tell y'all who's hella cool, my ladies from Cali talk. Never let it interfere with the Yeti ghetto slang. Nicknames off Timberland, Timber Nipples, Metal Fang. Known amongst hosts for the bang bang. Known amongst foes for flow without no talking orangutan. Only chin and tang, guzzle out a rusty tin can. Man, this mic is like Kenny Gang. Clay. It's like me, hold the beat. I took her back to the truck, she was uncool. Spitting all out the sunroof, threw her missing tooth. But then she has a sexy voice, sound like Jazzy Joyce. So I turned it up faster than a spinning knife. Strong enough to please a wife, able to drop today's math in the 48 keys of life. Cut the crap, pause rap. Touch the mic and get the same thing that A-Rab would do to you for stealing. What the devil is on another level. It's a word, no a name. MF, the super villain. Crowd around. To you, I knew you were the one for me. I said the whole world, you will see. Never ran with cruise in his hand and won't stop rocking till they clocked on a gazillion grand. Filling the wasteland sands, raps on backs and treasure maps, stacks to the ceiling fan. He rests on his ashes, ask him after 10 miles of his galoshes.
I say.
Chip on his shoulder with a slip-on holster, a clip, a folder, and his grip on a molder. Most that ain't supposed to know. The show with his oracle, get from out the road when he get dough was horrible. Time is money, spend, waste, save, invest, invest. 10K so cave a chicken chest mess. Yes, y'all on the double get your trickles. The best ballers pitch in and rub to get a nickels. But tut, he about to change the price again and go up each time he blow up like hydrogen. Villains here have him thrilling in fear. It won't stop top bill until he a gazillionaire, grilling stare. Yeah, your boy had karma. Got him on the mental plane, avoided bad karma. One soda inbred, skinhead, a nigga joke. Plus a brand new chrome smoker with the triggers broke. I thought I told him fire and pencil separate. He find out later when he tries to go and rep it. Took a Jehovah money for an Arabic Torah. Charged in advance, translated and ignored a sorta. One monkey don't stop, no slaughter. A junkie want a cop a quarter ton run for the border. Know the drill, it ain't worth the overkill. Flow skill, still, there's no drill. Villain running 10K bills in this filler. Villain when it gets realer, split the skrilla with Mix, kicks, get rich quick. Sketch lyric that's about a nick on something. Ick from the drumstick, come with the dumb stick. Sick, slick, hidden in a book. The only way they find it is to spit in a hook. Listen, don't look now. Keep walking. Traded 3 days for
Yep,
this cow.
I say the dealer. I say the dealer too.
Coffin to a coffin, might as well score from often. He's like, some shit stronger though. Off the top, Jay strong, play long throw. Wear a mask like yo off the gong show. Flow slow as Mongo, Don Juan Don Pro.
If you're not standing up, the vibe got a chat band.
Playing Ray J, the whole tape. Doing well, what can I say? Like JJ in a gold cape. Fill it to the rim like Grip. Feeling that you won't find him in no gym. Calling to your foggy bar with the frogs with a dot on the guard as he squat on the log. Half cocked and half baked. Keep a full stock of work, half rock and half shake. My mistake, sign a track agreement for more cheese than lines and cracks in the cement. In any event, it's fake like wrestling. Get him like Jake the Snake on Vespers. Listen for the dry throat, try to hit the high note. Selling since an Ipsy Vixen's eye go. By remote, send them the meat wagon, bragging them seeds packed in with their keys dragging. Your stats is staggering. Had his meetings deep in the street haggling. Fill it. His agenda is clear. Enter this year with
different beats.
here. It's not meant for the seeing. Went through the ceiling after entering his sense of being. A new meaning to sales through the roof. Guaranteed raw as source truth is truth proof. It's the return of the tramp. Who'll do a duet jam when Ernest goes to camp for the right bird. Nah, I mean like bird. We need some more oil for the machines to burn. Learn. Jiminy Crickets. He gets lucky like winning free tickets off sickly lyrics. One man's waste is another man's soap. Son's fan base know the brother man's dope. A real weirdo with a bug rear flow. And the way his hair grow was ugly as a scarecrow. He was a mass so the charge won't grab. On a rooftop with a large stone slab. Heads up, talk white and thought niggerish. Refused to walk tight and got his off the vigorous. Black licorice, equally as yucky. How he handled the money was strictly damn stucky. Monkey hustle, man on fire. Later for the date than the hand-drawn collider. And course more, it be seeming like a style. Don't leave the competition steaming like a pile. Smile. Spark controls, in effect like alternate side of the street parking rules. Creeds never dead. Live for a week, then dehydrate with a 7-hand instead. It was the vision afflicted. Split the way split. We've got to try to find doom. Good luck.
Good luck. Classic.
Precision as an afro trim. All big letters, but it is no acronym. Smack the thick grin off a chip for crack smoking. DDT the first ball, leave the track back broken.
Man, I'm about to go though. I definitely want to let some wordplay come in by doing.
The wheels fall off, that is the end. Don't get killed, Halden. Villain always been. Feel real, genuine ball skin. Not to call the whole crowd out. It's just a few chumps. They know who you are like a shout out.
Matter of fact,
Like a pastry. Wasted space, face, hasty, bow out.
I'm going to end on this one.
Melanin on melanin. You do need to recharge off your velvet skin. Make them feel like I'm 12 again. As soon as you hit the green light, I'm delving in. Melanin on melanin. You fella need to recharge off your velvet skin. Make me feel like I'm 12 again. As soon as you hit the green light, I'm delving in. Learn to balance. It's real tricky. It's like the credible hope turn back to Bill bitch. Front masturbate. I'd rather wait than keep enough of that good stuff for the trading in. Each and every day. Making cash with Satan. Can't eat, can't sleep. It's exasperating. Bad light burning off. All they need is one warm hug to keep from turning off. I'm sure you can use a boost. Left the hoop parked in the hood with the screws loose. Bust the coupe out the driveway, stash house. Scoop up, hit the highway and mash out. Matte black like melanin on melanin. Of course the butter soft black leather trim center rims. Let a purr, not a scratch on it. Spin it back to the garage and put a latch on it. I need a handful of melanin. Feeling like the lambs won't bear on your tender skin. We might give you a shock initially as we reconnect up the flow of electricity. The phenomenal melanin via polymer. Follow with a glass roll low. I can swallow her. Eat her up like a snack well. We can live forever like
we had a lack cell.
Melanin on melanin. Ask me where the hell I've been soon as I felt the skin. Holding hands, feet in the sand grounded. Staring in the pretty brown eyes astounded. I'll share some solar power if you let me count it. We could go for hours. Then again in the shower. Left her legs trembling. Recharge for melanin.
I'm trying to find the other one. Hey. Melanin on melanin.
Again, all humans are melanin dependent, and it doesn't matter whether you were born and reared in Denmark or born and reared in Kenya at the equator. For you not to have a direct conscious relationship with your melanin is going to cost you your life. Because the melanin molecule is the orchestrator and the organizer for every mechanism in your body. You've got to make peace with it. You cannot continuously polarize yourself against this molecule. So I don't care how white your skin is, you are black on the inside, you have melanin that you have to communicate with so that it functions for you. I don't care if you are navy blue black, if you do not have the rapport with your melanin, you are going to catch holy hell. So we know for a fact, it's not necessarily how much you have, it's how well you're able to use it.
With that being said, man, blessings. I enjoyed that vibe. You see, and that's kind of like what I want to like again, like have it more we discuss metaphysics, of course, and everything we discussing is going to help us, in some way, form, or fashion, get insight, or be inspired, or in some way, form, or fashion, add value to what it is we're dealing with in our lives, and at the same time, like not doing it in a stiff manner, like allowing for us to have fun. I do understand the balance of like presenting certain things, and certain things meant to be taken with a certain high level of accountability. Let's just say, like, it takes a certain level of accountability, and at the same time, we could still have fun with, again, like expressing ourselves. And because it's like that person that quote unquote laughs in the face of danger, like other people thinking the world ending, but it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But man, many blessings. Catch y'all later. I may be doing an Instagram live later as well, but definitely just wanted to vibe with y'all. And again, for YouTube video purposes, I do not own the rights. Matter of fact, especially right now, making sure that my brethren, get any and all revenue that's due to him and his fam through his music making. So again, much blessings and appreciation for being that beacon, and the beacon of expression in this reality, because that is something of value to, like, when we think about like what we see ourselves go through it, like having to be ourselves, and like what that takes. You know what I'm saying? So much love and blessings to any and all beings who came down here and you know uh held the torch, so to speak, and led the way in so many words, and again, being that beacon and showing a blueprint, and again, and allowing for us to see not only how they did it, but also like tapping in with ourselves, and again, and creating something, being just as inventive, and in what's the word for innovative, as the ones that came before us. But much love, Ashe. Again, give thanks. Now is a vibe break. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now. Peace.